Welcome back to Harmonize Your Life Conversations on Self-Care for Women of Color podcast with your host, Dr. Tony G. Alvarado. I'm so glad that you are back with us this week for another exciting, intriguing, informational, inspirational podcast conversation. We'll be right back with my next guest, but I just want you to know that this week's podcast is so special to me because our guest today is my yoga instructor, Jada Right. And she has recently done a class for us on deep breathing. And today we're going to talk about just that. We're going to talk about just breathe. And I believe that this conversation will breathe new life into you and help invigorate you for this next season of grace in your life. So stay with us right after this, and we'll be right back. All right, we have in the podcast studio with us this week, Jada Right. Jada is educator, consultant, yogi. She is a doula, a lactation specialist, a mother, professional. I mean, she does it all. I don't know how she does it all, but she does it all and she looks good while she's doing it. I want you to help me welcome back to the podcast studio, Jada Right. Welcome back, Jada.
Hi, thank you for having me. I'm so happy to be here.
Thank you, Jada. Well, you know, you are just a part of the Harmonize Your Life family, right?
Yes.
Jada hosts, she is our instructor for the Monday night yoga group that I want to invite all of you that are listening to us. When you join the Harmonize Your Life Women's Self-Care Network, you get access into our Monday night yoga group with Jada Right. And I'm telling you, it is wonderful. We meet every Monday night on Zoom from 7 to 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And Jada has worked with us in the yoga group. I mean, she's gotten us flexible. She works us, y'all, now. And we get good sleep afterwards. And she helps us to stay flexible and young and vibrant and all of that. And so I'm glad that she has been walking this journey with me since we started the Self-Care Network, the yoga group. We were talking right before we came on live with the podcast. We were talking about how we started in the middle of the pandemic and we had more of a captive audience. We were all at home and women were chiming in from all over the country into our yoga group. And we know the world has opened back up and people are moving around more, but we want to still invite you to come on in. You can come from wherever you are, no matter what time zone you're in. Come on into the yoga group with us on Monday night, just 1 hour of your time, one day a week. And I know it would be a blessing for you. Many of you may have never tried yoga, but this would be a wonderful opportunity for you to try something new, right? Because if you keep doing the same thing, you're going to keep getting the same results, right? And so every now and then we need to try something new. But I asked Jada to come into the podcast studio with us this week, this month, to talk to us about the idea of breathing. Our topic today is deep breathing and self-care. And so I'm just going to kind of let her go because she's the expert. And she'll kind of lead us through this conversation. But I just want Jada to greet us. Jada, will you greet us? And just in your greetings, in your opening remarks, let us know about a little bit of your journey and why you're passionate about this work as a lactation specialist, as a doula, as a yogi, as a breathing specialist, deep breathing coach.
Yes.
Talk to us, what got you into this work and why is this important to you?
Yeah, thank you. Thank you again for having me. So I am uh, by profession what Sally Mae comes for is a degree in occupational therapy. So I'm an occupational therapist. I have worked with infants and adults, everyone across the lifespan. I started my career as an occupational therapist in pediatrics. I worked with infants in the NICU. I also worked with uh, children who were being diagnosed. I was helping to diagnose them with autism or autism spectrum disorders, attention deficit hyperactivity disorders, and things like that. And parents would often ask about, well, is there anything we can do related to nutrition to help with this? And I would say, I don't know. At the time, I was eating really well. I was very, very fit. So I guess I looked like I knew, but I didn't know specifically for these conditions. So I got into I studied holistic nutrition. I did it for 2 years. I went to New York City once a month and learned with uh, an amazing group of faculty who weren't that well known at the time. So Dr. Andrew Weil, Dr. Oz, before he had a show, when he was just this guy.
Wow, you studied with Dr. Oz?
Yes, yes. He was
wow,
just,
I didn't know that.
yeah, he was just a cardiologist who happened to be on Oprah every now and then. And he, came and talked to us about nutrition. Yama Van Zant spoke at our graduation. Like, it was amazing. And truly was holistic. So during that time, I started dabbling into lots of and learning about lots of different theories and therapies and modalities. And one of them was breathing. I was already taking yoga as a student. I do always like to say during this time that I grew up a cheerleader, gymnast, and a dancer.
Okay.
Was hyper flexible. Like,
and thus your baby.
Okay. Right.
Her daughter is a phenomenal gymnast, y'all. I mean, she puts her pictures and her stats out on social media. She is something.
Thank you. Yes, we have regionals this weekend, so be thinking about us.
Okay.
But so I was those things, and I didn't go to my first yoga class until after college. So I was in my early 20s. I was in my early 20s, and said, "Oh, I should do this." It was with a guy I was dating at the time. So let's try this yoga class. It sounds good. And it was slow. It was boring. The music was awful. I hated it. We got up and left in the middle of stairs to lift weights. Please don't do that to your yoga teachers. I send so much love to that teacher right now. I wish I knew who she was, but oh man, we were awful. And I think we made a commotion as we were leaving. It was terrible.
Oh Lord Jesus.
I know. Did not like yoga my first go around. A couple of years later, I had debilitating migraines. They would have me out for 3 or 4 days. I have a high tolerance for pain. They'd have me out for 3 or 4 days. And at one point, I had 8 full days with no relief. And I was living in Memphis at the time. My family was in Atlanta. And I told my mom, I'm on the way to the hospital. I think I have a brain tumor.
Oh, wow.
And I drove myself to the hospital. My mom called my friends, my ex-boyfriend, my current boyfriend. She called everybody to see about me. And because I'm driving myself to the hospital, I didn't have a brain tumor. Praise God. These were migraines, and they were just that bad. Wow. And so they gave me, they got me out of pain quickly with a shot of Demerol. They put me on medications. The medications did not work. They either did not touch the pain, or I couldn't function while on them.
Okay.
So I said, I need something, but medication is not it. Again, my diet was already pretty great. So when I looked up dietary changes to improve migraines, I was already checking off all of the boxes.
Wow.
And I knew a bit about holistic nutrition already. So I was, the only thing that just kept popping up was yoga. And I was like, oh,
Wow.
yoga. I don't like it. And so I went to a hot yoga class, a Bikram yoga class. And about the fourth posture in, my headache was gone for the first time in, at that point, months.
Wow.
There was no neck or head pain, pressure, blurred vision went away. I went back the next day. So slight headache came back later that day. I went back the next morning and now about 2 postures in, no headache. That was in 2004. I haven't had a migraine since then, and that is the truth.
Wow. So before you started doing yoga, you suffered with migraines really bad.
Terribly. Yeah. So I say that.
So let me ask you this. What is it about yoga that helped you or helps with migraines? So is yoga known for helping with migraines?
It is known for helping with migraines, and it helps with everything. So,
okay.
So, but again, I was
about that.
Yeah, I was resistant to it because I thought it was all about flexibility. And I said, well, I'm already flexible. I don't need to be more flexible. I need
right,
for this
you're already a cheerleader and a gymnast.
Yeah. I just needed for this migraine to go away. Why does yoga keep showing up on this list? So what I learned is that so yoga means union, and it's the union of the mind and the body. And
union of the mind and the body.
So what we're doing in our bodies sends messages to the brain, and the brain sends messages back to the body about whether this is okay, this is safe, or it's not. Okay. So it's survival. It's all of this is about survival. Okay. If we think about ancient man and woman, when we were in danger, when we heard or felt or sensed a saber-toothed tiger approaching, certain things in our bodies needed to turn on in order for us to survive. So our heart rate needed to increase, our respiration needed to increase, our muscles and joints needed to turn on so that we could run.
It's the way God created us. Our eyes dilate.
Eyes dilate, all of that, right? It is so that we can survive. Now, what does turn off, though, is digestion, because we can't do all of that and have to stop and go to the bathroom, right? So everything turns on, digestion slows down, okay?
When we're in danger.
When we are stressed, when we are fearful, when we have anxiety, when we are in danger.
When we are stressed, when we are fearful, when we have anxiety, and when we're in danger, everything else turns on and digestion slows down.
Right.
And that signals the body that something's wrong, something needs to be done, we need to respond.
Right. So we don't turn any of those on. We don't turn them on. We can't say to our heart, slow down. Okay. Or our nerves, slow down. What we can do is take deep breaths. That slows everything down. So that signals the brain when we take deep inhalations that are thoughtful and intentional. And when we take
deep inhalations that are
thoughtful and intentional.
Okay.
And then we let them out with the exhalation with the same amount of peace, fullness, completeness. Our brain then knows we're safe, because if a saber-toothed tiger were here, There's no way she could have just taken that breath in that way. Okay. So
Okay.
then when we do that with repetition, that brings down everything else. Muscles relax. Your circulatory system, your heart pumps slower, but the blood is able to get to further parts of the body, right?
Okay.
Okay. Whereas when it's pumping very quickly, it's just shooting to
Mm-hmm.
wherever it can get it to, right?
Mm-hmm.
But when it's pumping more slowly, it can completely get to our fingertips. It can get to our toes, up to our brains. Okay. So everything that was speeding up with the approach of that deadly item slows down.
Wow.
And then digestion can turn on, which is why sometimes you might lie down in bed or on a massage table. My goodness, on a massage table.
And then you have to go to the bathroom.
Right? That's why it's happening, because you're finally relaxed. So it doesn't mean, oh, I'm hungry. No, digestion is just happening.
Oh, yeah. Wow.
So
you are teaching us already. This is so good. This is so good. This is so good. So when this is the month of May, right?
Yes.
And this is National Mental Health Month. A lot of attention is on mental health. This month it should be on. We should have attention on mental health all year, really, especially now with post-pandemic, or as some people say, we're still in it.
Still in it.
In a lot of ways, because it's more than many pandemics happening right now, right? And it's stressful. You know, I was on the walking trail this morning with my walking partners, and we were just talking about how the shooting that just happened in Buffalo, New York, and I told them, I said, you know, when I woke up this morning, I was thinking about, I need to go to the grocery store. And the next thought was, what if I go to the grocery store and somebody starts shooting?
Yeah.
And so it's this constant barrage of anxiety, stress that over time it takes a toll on us mentally, right? And so what is the relationship with deep breathing and our breaths and the impact that it has on our mental health?
Yeah. So what you're describing is a hypothesis that exists in sociology, and really should be reaching over to physiology, and it's called the weathering hypothesis. And what it states is the weathering hypothesis. So all of these stressors that you just named and many more impact us. They just wear us down over time. So it may not be one big harsh thing that traumatizes us. It is many, many cuts over time, everywhere, with virtually no relief in sight.
It's almost like you know what, as you were talking, I got a visual. I'm visual a lot of times in my thinking. And what I saw was almost like a drip of water that continues and continues and continues. And even though it's just a small drip of water, if it continues over time, it can cause damage.
It can cause damage. So water is free flowing, it's light, it can wipe away from your arm in a moment. Also, it's strong enough to carve mountains.
Yeah,
it is strong enough to carve and erode rocks and other structures, right? So yeah, that constant dripping wears us down. It wears us away. So not only our mental health, but our physical health is impacted. And so when we think about why Black women so prone to heart disease, and why are Black women so prone to stress, and all the whole list of that, all that Black women are more prone to, or the top of that list, right? Every list. Why are Black women? A lot of it has to do with this constant weathering that we face from little girls,
Constant weathering. Wow.
Constant weathering, constant in our classrooms as children, and on the street walking home as a child or as a preteen, or it's just everywhere. You're too fast. You're not smart enough. You're gonna be this, you're gonna be that. And then you get to motherhood and you've got this emotional load that you've got to carry for the whole family. And you make it look easy. Maybe I make it look easy, but we're thinking of 1,000 things at a time.
Yeah, because the thoughts lead on to other thoughts. Like, for example, I'm just being honest. This morning when I started thinking about the and I mean, by the time it started with one thought, I need to go to the grocery store. That led to thinking about the shooting in Buffalo, and then thinking about, well, am I safe if I go? And then thinking about, then I thought about Ariel when she goes to the grocery store,
right.
And then and all of a sudden I'm thinking about, and my son, he's getting ready to be a school teacher, and Ariel, and what if while they're working, all of a sudden I'm thinking about school shootings, and is my son gonna be safe when he starts teaching school? All from one thought. I need to
go to the grocery store.
Yeah,
I need to go to the grocery store.
Yeah.
And your babies are probably young enough. Did they do like shooter drills at school?
Yeah,
when they were growing up?
I don't know if they did shooter drills with when my kids
maybe
were
it might have. I don't know. But so my daughter is 9. I know I was getting ready to have her when Sandy Hook happened, and I saw the ticker go across the screen, and I turned the television off. And this is the truth: I did not watch television again for 2 years. I don't even know the details of Sandy Hook. I saw that something happened at this school and it was terrible. And I had a baby growing inside of me, and I could not imagine that life for my child. So she definitely, I didn't know if the active shooter drill started like post Columbine, but they're definitely in place post Sandy Hook. And, it's nothing for them. It's nothing for them. And when she told me about the first one, I was devastated. And I'm thinking, we had tornado drills growing up.
Right. That's what we had. Fire drills.
Yes. We didn't have active shooter drills. Yes.
Oh my God. It's so much. But this is the mental stress that we're under. So are we safe from the virus? Because people are still getting COVID,
right?
You know what I'm saying? So I mean, I just heard about somebody today that just recently had to take their child out of school because their child got COVID,
right?
So
right.
I mean, so we're still getting COVID, we're still dealing with COVID, we're still dealing with all this shooting, and then it's racially motivated. So we're people of color. I mean, this shooting was strictly racially motivated.
Yeah.
Right. So if I go in the grocery store, I'm a Black woman. My children are children of color. Are we safe?
Yeah. So we don't know. We hope so. We pray so. And what we can do in the meantime is breathe. Right. That's it. We're breathing, which means we are here. We're here. And it is, it's a gift. I say all the time, it's a gift in that we never have to think about it. You can go through this whole life and never encounter me or my class and think about how to breathe in 3 parts or how to breathe through 1 nostril or any of those things. And you can be breathing as long as God says so, right? You can just breathe. that's a gift. Okay. But also, you can take the time when you're feeling stressed, when you're feeling overwhelmed, when you're feeling like you want to ram the person ahead of you in traffic or bless them out or whatever you want to do, you can breathe.
You can deep breathe.
You can deep breathe. Yeah.
So talk to us about that intentional, because the breath that we get from God, the it's autonomic, where we don't really have to think about it.
Right.
It just happens. But then there is intentional breathing.
Yeah.
And that's what you helped us with in the deep breathing class. So talk to us about why it's important for us to practice deep breathing and intentional breathing.
Yeah, so it does help to add longevity to your very life. So the less stress your heart is under, the more beats your heart can have, the longer you will live. Okay, that's just it. When your heart has beaten as much as it wants to beat, or as much as it's going to beat, then that's it. But we can slow down this the heart rate by this deep breath. We can help to conserve energy, right, in our bodies. We can repair cells that are deteriorating in our bodies by this deep breathing. So it feels good to just take a breath, right? What did Whitley used to say, release, what'd she say? Oh goodness. Release, relate, something. I've forgotten it, right? But release is the last one, right? So that breathe, that deep exhalation, is so important. We do it even without this kind of class or this kind of discussion. We do it when we have an attitude. We do it when we're mad at somebody. We do it.
Just sit down at the end of the day, like,
yes. We do it when we're relieved. We do it when our baby crosses the stage. We do it at the end of a game. We do it. Okay, so we know that long exhale anyway is, gives us something. But the deep inhalations with the exhalations gives us even more, because
it's not just the deep exhalation, it's the deep inhalation.
Yeah.
The combination of the deep inhalation and the deep exhalation.
Yeah, the inhalation is the one that lets the brain know we're good. We're good. So even back to yoga, when we're in some postures that don't feel great when we first get in them. And then the body the brain is sending a signal that it's okay to release, because when you've got one leg bent in front of you and one leg behind you, and then your arms up in the air, right? Then your brain is saying, we're not safe. This isn't what we do. Everybody tense up so that we don't break anything. Okay. That's the message. And that's why when you first get in it, it's like, oh, I can't move at all. But when you keep breathing, then the body says, okay. And then your muscles actually do relax. Your joints actually do open up. Okay. So that is physiologically what happens. You breathe in deeply in this crazy pretzel position. and then you tell the mind with your own breathing that you're okay.
Okay.
And then the mind says, all right, we'll release it just a little bit, but you got to go back next week to get more. So that's what happens. It's meant to protect us. It's meant to protect us.
Okay.
But then we get to say, we're fine. We're safe. I'm in my own home. There is good lighting. I like this music. I like these people. We can let this let this leg go a little bit.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So that the combination of those techniques. Now you had us practicing some simple and complex techniques when we were in the
Yeah.
class.
Yeah.
And I just want you to expound on maybe one or two of the ones that we talked about in the class, just for those, because we're going to do the class again.
Yay.
In July, right? We
Right.
talked about doing it again. So you all listen up. We're going to do another deep breathing class with Jada Right in July. And I believe it's going to be on Thursdays. That's what we did last time. Thursdays at 8 p.m. It's only a 30-minute class, 8 to 8:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So if you're on the West Coast, it'll be what 5 to 5:30. So it could be at the end of your work day. If you're in the Midwest, it'll be 7 to 7:30. It's only 30 minutes. Just take 30 minutes out of your day, come into the deep breathing class with us, and she's going to teach us some techniques. So talk to us about on the podcast. Share maybe one or two of the at least two of the exercises, and maybe demonstrate those. And you and I could demonstrate those together for those that's watching and listening.
Yeah. So the first one that that we can do is just counting the breath up, holding it to show that you're really in control of it, and then releasing it. So most of the breathing that we'll do will take place in through the nose and out through the nose. So the exhalation out through the nose is another way that your body understands that you are calm, you are in control. The panting and the breathing out of your mouth. So think about when you're running, even for fitness, when you're running and you're, that is a sign of desperation. When you
I got to get through this. I just ran a half marathon Saturday. My mind going right to that. I need to get to mile 13. Right.
Yes. So if you incorporate this breathing and match it with your steps, you're going to feel less tired. Okay. As you go, your body will know we are safe. We are in control. Okay. She's just trying to get to mile 13.1. Don't forget that 0.1.
Oh, I can't forget that. Lord Jesus.
All right. So we'll go in through the nose we'll just do 4 seconds. We'll hold it for 2 seconds and then out through the nose for 4 seconds. When you're breathing, we typically, without instruction or increased awareness, we might breathe just into our chest, right?
Okay.
We want to do the deep breathing
Hold on.
Breathing.
Hold on 1 minute, Jada. We had a little bit of delay there. I don't know if this technology. So go back. You were getting ready to say something, and then you froze just a little bit. So go back to what you just said.
So most of us do chest breathing, where we inhale just enough to kind of raise our shoulders and pucker our chest out a little bit, and then that's it. That's sufficient. Okay, it's sufficient. It's not optimal. So you want to breathe deeply in through your nose and long enough, deeply enough, so that your abdominal area, your belly area really fills up. And you can, if you're lying down on your back, your belly will rise to the ceiling. If you're sitting straight up, your belly will come forward. That's how you know that the diaphragm, that major muscle of breathing, is pumping up and down and up and down. And that's what we want. So the lungs are filling up too and expanding, filling up, and contracting. And so that's what we want to happen. So we will inhale through the nose for 4 seconds, hold it for 2, exhale for 4. 3, 2, 1. Hold it. 1, 2. Exhale. 4, 3, 2, 1. Inhale. 1, 2, 3, 4. Hold it. 1, 2. Exhale. 2, 3, 4. And you just continue to cycle through in that way. And the more you practice this, the easier it becomes. You might notice at first that your inhalations are a little bit faster. You get all the air in that you're going to take in 1.2 seconds. And then you don't know what to do with it. And I'm saying holding it, and you think your head's going to explode, and then you let it all out in half a second. But the more you practice this, the easier it becomes. And this kind of breath can really become second nature. Like this could be the way that you end up breathing all the time at your work.
And we can do this at work, behind our computers, just all day, right?
In your car. Yes.
Intentional, like you said, 4 count breaths.
4 counts up, hold it for 2, 4 counts down.
Okay. Let's try it one more time. Okay.
All right. So inhale, 1, 2, 3, 4. Hold it. 1, 2. Exhale. 1, 2, 3, 4. Inhale. 1, 2, 3, 4. Hold it. Exhale. 4, 3, 2. One more. Inhale. 2, 3, 4. Hold it. 1, 2. Exhale. 2, 3, 4. Let it all out.
Yeah, that feels good.
Doesn't that feel good? So you could set a timer on your smartwatch or your phone or anything around you for just like 2 minutes and just do that. You can take that up to 5 seconds, 6 seconds even, once you become a little more proficient with it. And you still want to hold it just about 2 or 3 seconds. We're not trying to train for scuba diving or anything. And then you can
how often in the day should we practice this kind of breathing? Like, you know, should we, because, you know, some people say, well, like, for instance, with mindfulness, can we couple this with mindfulness and meditation? And then because I see a lot of times people say, well, there's 5 minute, you know, people do 5-minute meditations, 10-minute meditations. Is there a good amount of time in the day that we should take for this type of breathing?
Yeah. So back to occupational therapy. Carpal tunnel syndrome, right? Which people were getting a lot of when we started working at workstations, you know, 20 years ago. Carpal tunnel syndrome, some situations in the elbow, lots of neck and shoulder pain. One of the prescriptions for that for those conditions is taking the last 2 minutes of every working hour to stretch out your wrists, your elbows, your neck and shoulders, taking the last 2 minutes. And so now I just couple deep breathing with that. Okay. I just couple it with that. So those same 2 minutes that you are stretching, this is for everybody. This is prevention. So much of this is prevention. So you don't want to start stretching out your wrist.
Prevention is always easier than restoring or
it is. And prevention is tricky though, because you don't know that it's working. You think, well, why do I have to keep moving my wrist because I don't have any wrist pain? Well, you don't have any wrist pain because you keep moving.
Because you're moving your wrist. Yeah. So, I get it.
Yeah. So I would say the last 2 minutes or 2 minutes out of every hour, take some time, especially if you're at a workstation, but take some time to just move. Whatever you're doing, do something different. So if you're on your feet for 60 minutes, sit down. Sit down for 2 minutes and do your deep breathing. If you're on your bottom for 60 minutes, those last 2 minutes, stand up, walk around, move around.
2 minutes of deep breathing. Wow.
2 minutes of deep breathing. Just do something different than
do something different. Y'all hear that? Put that in the comments. Do something different. I like that. So whatever we're doing with that within that 60 minutes, take at least 2 minutes to either stand up or sit down and do some deep breathing. Or walk around, maybe.
Walk around and do your deep breathing. Stretch your wrists out, do your deep breathing. Okay. That's also
Okay.
a good time to, you didn't ask me, but that's also a good time to get your water in too.
Yes, you see me over here with my water bottle. I keep drinking because I'm working on getting more of my water in. Thank you. You just reminded me. Go ahead.
Yeah, so that's also a good time to take those, you can do 15 or so ounces, 20 ounces at that time. So yeah, you can get it
Okay.
in.
Okay.
I say all day, you don't have to have a meditation room and candles and sage and music and all this stuff in order to get this done. That's breathing, that's meditation, that's yoga. You can just be doing it.
Wow. Wow, this is just so good. You have just really, really, really helped us. I believe that the people who are listening to this podcast is being helped. I'm hoping that it's opening up people's mindset
Yeah.
to try different things, new things, learn different ways, preventative care and self-care, health and wellness practices that we can incorporate into our everyday existence and everyday life. Um, and this is just stuff we can do,
Yeah.
because we're here and we're able to do it. And so, Jada, I am so excited about the relationship that we have with you in the Harmonize Your Life self-care network. I thank you for being a part of this journey with me. When I asked you to come into this journey with me, you didn't send me no big long contract and say, okay. I mean, you just have become a part of the Harmonize Your Life team, and I just love you for that. I appreciate you for that, and I just want everybody to know what they're missing by when they're not coming to yoga or they're not coming into the deep breathing classes. You all see what you're missing. You need to come in and let Jada help you with these things, and I'm so grateful that she is on my team for the Harmonize Your Life Women's Self-Care Network. Let me just do a little bit of station identification and let people know where they can find you, Jada. First of all, those of you that are just tuning in, if you're just tuning in, I want you to know you are listening to or watching on YouTube the Harmonize Your Life Conversations on Self-Care for Women of Color podcast with your host, Dr. Tony G. Alvarado. You can find us on Anchor, on Apple, on Google, on Spotify. You can also find us on YouTube. If you are listening to this podcast and you have not subscribed to my YouTube channel, please, please, please go there, subscribe. It doesn't cost you anything to just click that subscription button, that little thumbs up thing, subscribe to it, and you'll be notified when new episodes of the podcast is uploaded. We generally upload in our podcast season every month a new episode. We're 3 months on, 1 month off. We're in season 7 right now. We're in the month of May, which is the kickoff month for season 7. We're in the 3rd week of that. I'm so excited that Jada Right is our guest for this week of this series, and I'm just so grateful for your viewership and the way you have supported this podcast. Share this podcast. Let other people know about it. We need more information like this to help us as a community. Listen, the Bible says we perish for the lack of knowledge. Y'all know I'm going to bring the word in because that's my profession, right? I'm a pastor. That's my first call, right? I'm a pastor. And so we perish, you all, for the lack of knowledge. And so when God gave me this podcast ministry, when he told me to start this self-care network for women of color, it was about us being all the God has called us to be and fulfilling the purpose and destiny of God for our lives and doing it in a healthy way. And you can help us by subscribing to the podcast, sharing it, and putting this information out there. Certainly, we have so much negativity in this social media, internet world, television world. We need more positive content like this out there, and you help us come up in the analytics when you subscribe and you share and you comment to what's happening here in this podcast. I also want you to know, ladies, that I am in the middle of a fitness challenge. Dr. Tony's Fitness Challenge is going on right now. Go to my website at drtonyalvarado.com and you can sign up to be a part of the fitness challenge there. While you're there, join the Harmonize Your Life Self-Care Network women. Join us. When you join the network, you get access into the classes like the yoga class, like the deep breathing class, and other tea time with Dr. Tony, where we bring in speakers and teachers and facilitators, and we support one another. We inspire one another, and we motivate one another toward health and wellness and fitness and self-care. Today, we in our podcast studio, we are listening to Jada Right. She has been our guest on today, and so we're grateful for her being here with us on today. You can find Jada at Jada Right on Facebook. You can find her there at Jada Right, or you can find her on Instagram at Jada_Right, or at My Blossom Mom. She didn't even get to talk about the work that she does as a doula, the work she does as a lactation specialist. We just talked about her as a breathing coach. And so, but listen, follow her on Instagram. Follow the work that she is doing. If you're looking for a doula, if you're looking for somebody to help you birth a baby naturally and to support you as you're giving birth, I highly recommend Jada Right. I'm past childbearing years, so listen.
Me too.
But I have a lot of girls who follow me who are still having children and having babies. And my daughter-in-law, I'm believing God for her to have a baby. And so we want to make sure that we, as Black women, particularly, we know that there is a high immortality rate, a high mortality rate when it comes to babies in Black women. And so she does a lot of teaching on that to help us have our babies safely. All right. And so that the mother and the child can live a healthy life on the other side of childbirth. All right. Jada, thank you again for being here with us on today. Will you just give us one last word of encouragement as we close out our conversation?
Yeah. So again, thank you. It is always my honor and privilege to be here. And I love working with the ladies. It is my Monday night. I have carved out everything else around this Monday night experience and the Thursdays that for the breathing class, and maybe we'll have even quarterly. I don't know. I'm just putting it out there. But yeah, breath is life. Breath is essential. Breath is necessary. We think about what we need in life, and we talk about, bread and water, food, water, and shelter. Sometimes we add love to that. But I like to say we can go many, many days, weeks even without food. We can go a few days without water and still be okay. We can only go a few moments without breath. And it is that important and often overlooked. Don't take it for granted.
Don't take it for granted.
Yeah.
We can go a few days without food. Mm-hmm. We can go even a few days without water, but we cannot go anytime without breathing. Mm-hmm. Our breath is important, and it's a gift.
It's a gift.
And so let's do it. Let's breathe deeply. Let's inhale together. Let's exhale together. One of the things you did in the breathing class that was so good, and I want us to think about that as we're leaving out. One of the things you had us do, you had us speak words.
Oh yeah.
That as we, yeah, she, yeah. Say something about that.
So when you couple the breathing with affirmations, then it, I believe, goes even more deeply into your spirit. It just becomes you. So we can do some I am affirmations. So on the inhale, you'll think about or say I am, and then on the exhale, you'll repeat the word that I say. All right. Okay. So I am, that's an inhale. Exhale, stopping. I am breathing. I am balancing. I am this moment. I am this life. I am supported. I am loved.
Wow. Yeah. Yeah. Thank you. Thank you for helping us.
Yeah.
So we can inhale what we can inhale good things. We can exhale things we don't want.
Yeah. That's
we
the
can inhale things.
Yeah.
And then just release that into our spirit by
Mm-hmm.
exhaling. I love it. I love it.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you so much, Jada.
Yes,
Thank you. We'll see you all again next week on the Harmonize Your Life Conversations on Self-Care for Women of Color podcast with your host, Dr. Tony G. Alvarado. Don't miss it. See you soon. Hi, this is Dr. Tony Alvarado. I am so delighted about bringing the Harmonize Your Life podcast to you. Would you do me a favor? If you are enjoying this podcast, would you email me at hello@drtonyalvarado.com? I want to hear from you. I want your feedback. I want to know if there are any other topics that you are interested in as it relates to wellness, self-care, nutrition, or just overall bringing harmony into your life. Email me, contact me at hello@drtonyalvarado.com.